Well, all right, let's talk about heat damage. Heat damage is the thing that every woman walking the face of the earth with curly hair is so afraid of. And right now, if you look at your hair or your hair at her hair and you see it, it's like, oh my God. She has severe heat damage, and if you are somebody who describes their self as for WHYZ, then you would say, oh my God, my hair has heat damage, I have to cut it all off. Now what I'm doing now is combing through this leave-in conditioner. Really quick sidebar, your leave-in conditioner is the heat protection for your blowout. Google it for yourself or go on the Kimber's website. It's a heat protector for the blow dryer, and I've never seen a blow dryer that gets to 450 degrees, but I digress. So as I am combing through her hair, I am combing this conditioner through. But again, you guys, across social media, you would say that her hair is damaged. But here are just a few of many hair shaft disorders. And the woman that is in this video has none of the hair shaft disorders that you see in this video. However, my clients who come in and it is their first time getting their hair straightened in years and decades, from Team Natural practices, right? They have all of these hair shaft disorders, sometimes multiple ones at a time. The one hair shaft disorder that almost every woman who identifies as natural has is single strand knots, but you guys named it single strand knots. Scientifically, it is called trichinosis, right? And the majority of women who wear their hair curly have single strand knots, and you guys think that it's normal. You think that it is a natural thing, that if you have curly hair, you have to have knots in your hair, and that's not true. You guys have hair shaft disorders from your search and destroy methods, from the different products that you use, the different methods and hacks that you use. One comment that I always get, right, whenever I do videos like this is like, oh my God, why are you always saying things about Team Natural and things of that nature? You guys, I have been a licensed cosmetologist since I was 19 years old. I'm 34. I've never done anything else. I left from behind the chair 7 years ago, right? And now within the 7-day challenge and different courses that I have, I teach women the correct way to do their hair. This is a picture from inside the 7-day challenge where you can see they do not play in their hair. I teach them how to first practice on a mannequin and then learn the proper steps, patterns, and routines, right? But when it comes to Team Natural and me always bringing it up, my baby, licensed cosmetologists have been taking everything on the chin for the last 15 years. We've been like taking the hairstylists suck, blow dryers and flat irons are bad, and those are the problem, and all of those things. And the majority of cosmetologists either switch to another field, close their books to new customers, or are just, I don't know. And the majority of the ones that you guys are going to now are the ones who barely care about the science. They got the L's to make money and nothing else. But when you find a cosmetologist that truly understands the science of hair, they will tell you how irritated they have been with the whole Team Natural hacks, the do-it-yourself thing, because it's so unnecessary. Having healthy hair is so simplistic, and let's just be real and honest with ourselves. How many of you listening to the sound of my voice right now have done like 5 or 6, 7, 8 big chops, all because you saw your hair and was like, oh my God, my hair looks straighter in that place than it does in that place. Now I have to cut all my hair and start all over. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people, well, I'm not sorry. I know a lot of people are going to like what I have to say next, but it has always been a money grab. Think about it. If you are under the preconceived notion that if your curl pattern looks any different, that your hair is damaged and you got to cut it off, you'll always be buying products to make sure that you maintain the curl. You're always going to be locked into a hair growth product because you're always cutting your hair off and trying to grow it back. It makes it so that the only damage that you think you have is represented by the way that your curl pattern looks. And that could not be further from the truth. There are women who decide to get relaxers, or there are women with naturally straight hair. I apologize. Naturally straight hair that decide to get a perm and have their hair curlier, right? And their hair is so healthy. Having a chemical in your hair does not automatically allude to your hair being damaged, and your curl pattern being different does not automatically allude to your hair being damaged. But over the past 12 plus years, that is the preconceived notion that you guys would be under. And so many people, as you watch this video, you would say, oh, her hair is damaged. This woman's hair is not damaged. Her hair is extremely healthy. There are 3 bonds that hold the hair together: the salt bond, the hydrogen bond, and the disulfide bond. And the more disulfide bonds stands for 2 sulfur bonds, right? And the more sulfur linkages you have, the curlier the hair is. So a person who went from extremely curly hair to their hair looking straight does not have damaged hair. They have hair that has less of those sulfur to sulfur linkages, because there are only 2 things that make your hair curly: the size of the follicle and the amount of sulfur to sulfur linkages that you have within the disulfide bond of the hair shaft. So it is a myth and something that they've used to make millions of dollars off of y'all. And they have, because the majority of women listening to the sound of my voice have enough products in their house that they'll probably never use to start a mini beauty supply store, right? It's all been a product push, right? And I want you to pay attention to her hair through this video, and I want you to notice how there is never a time where you're going to see any type of white film, white residue, or anything. I'll do 1 to 2 sprays of a heat protectant and keep it moving. I did a couple of sprays of the leave-in conditioner before I started blow drying, and I kept it moving. That's it. That's all. Like, it's not that complex. It's really not. But the reason that so many people find such a hard time, and it's only women in a certain demographic, it's only women with naturally curly hair, like extremely curly hair, Black women. Okay, it's only y'all that make hair care so difficult, right? I just made a video about protein treatments, and then it was another video that I made about heat protectants, and you guys will not take like just something at face value. Me to say, okay, just use a leave-in conditioner. It's like, what if I use the leave-in conditioner and I mix it with 14 drops of rice nipple juice and then a couple of bottles of oil? It's like there's some type of mental brainwash that prevents you from just following directions and keeping it moving. You guys make things 10 times more complicated than they have to be. You'll follow women on social media that buy conditioners and then add oils and butters to a conditioner and then complain about the conditioner not working. These are the things that I want you guys to see within yourself. That's why we have these conversations, right? I am a licensed cosmetologist. I am a scientist. I am not someone that is here on social media to make people feel good about themselves or anything like that. The way that Black women see their hair is not the way that scientists see their hair. You guys see your hair as, oh, I'm Black, and then we have different categories: 4A, 4B, 4C, 4W, XYZ. I don't see it like that. I see it the way that every other scientist walking the face of the earth sees it, which is hair is broken into 3 categories: straight, wavy, and curly. That is it, and that's all. You only cut hair when it is stretched. Curly hair is stretched when it's wet. Oh, curly hair is stretched when it is completely dry, and flat iron, that's when it's stretched the most. And naturally straight hair is stretched when it is wet and swollen when it is dry. And you never cut hair when it is swollen. However, you guys have completely turned the science of the human body upside down. And then every time somebody like myself makes a video, it's like, hey, let's segregate us. Make a special hack for black women. There are no special hacks. Hear me. I'm a black woman too. My mother is a black woman. My daddy was a black man from Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, I'm from the D. Like, I'm a black woman for real. And as a black woman, you do not need a whole nother slew of products that are full and chock full of oils and butters and greases. You do not. You do not need other crazy routines. And I want y'all to think about something. Women, right, say for me to grow my hair, I have to stop blow drying my hair. I can only use this product. I can only use oils, butters, and greases. But when I was in cosmetology school, right, they're one of the main groups of people that used to come into the school were men of all ages, and they will all have hair to their, like, some of these men had hair like down their back, damn near to their butt. These were black men. You want to know what their routines were? They shampooed, conditioned their hair, and they didn't do it. They came to the school, and we would do a deep conditioning on their hair after we did a clarifying shampoo, detoxifying the scalp and the hair shaft, right? And then give them a deep conditioning treatment because they're only coming once every 3 weeks. So giving them a deep conditioning treatment after we rinse the deep conditioner treatment out fully with water, right? With cold water, so it's locked in. Then we would take them to the chair, spray leave-in conditioner in their hair, blow dry their hair, trim their ends after they let us straighten it a little bit. If it was time for them to get a trim, if it was every 10 weeks, if it was that 10-week mark, we would straighten their hair, trim their ends, and then braid it right up. What you mean? And then if it wasn't time for them to get a trim, the men would just get a blowout. We would braid their hair, and then they would keep it moving. They didn't put oils and butters and greases on their scalp. Men are not at home greasing their scalp every day. They not at home oiling in their scalp every day. It's not happening. My favorite rapper is Big Sean. Big Sean has longer hair than most of the women that are listening to the sound of my voice right now. And that man goes to a professional cosmetologist that shampoos, conditions his hair, sprays leave-in conditioner in it, blow dries it, braids it up, leaves his hair alone, and he comes back, follows the same routine. He doesn't do any of these crazy patterns that y'all do. And these are the things that I need y'all to think about. Men do not have all of the complications that we have. They don't. And I'm not being disrespectful, but there are some women who have little boys that their sons are having alopecia and different scalp disorders because you're greasing your daughter's scalp or your son's scalp the same way that the people on YouTube are. And I've had, before I close my books down for my one-on-one consultations, the majority of the women that were booking appointments with me were booking appointments for their daughters. Their daughters were under 10. And their daughters had severe alopecia, severe balding. Do you understand how severe it is for a 6 or 7-year-old to have alopecia? The human hair growth cycle is 7 years. Asian people have longer hair growth cycles, and I think it's because of their diet and the way they live, right? But their hair growth cycle can be about 10 years. But the average human hair growth cycle is 7 years. If your daughter or son is balding or thinning at 6 or 7 years old, their body hasn't even completed one full hair growth cycle and is falling out. I'm sorry, y'all. As the mother, I need you to lose all offense. Stop trying to be easily offended by everything that you see online. Stop trying to debate and argue everything. Everything's not up for debate, right? A debate, when you're debating something, when you're in a debate, for example, a presidential debate, the presidential debate, there are two people with where they're supposed to have the same level of qualifications, but it's two people with the same level of qualification. They've been to school, they got the same credentials, and they're going back and forth between each other debating on policy because they've both studied in the same field. I'm not being disrespectful. If you take this in a way, then take it in a way, but it is not up for debate between, I'm going to use myself for an example, a dermatologist, a surgical dermatologist that can cut open scalps and do skin biopsies, and me. We're not going to argue. Okay, I didn't go to school to be a dermatologist. I am licensed and certified to do a lot of things to the human scalp, but I'm not licensed or certified to use no scalpel. And it is completely ignorant of me to sit there and try to go back and forth and debate a dermatologist. I would never. Could we have a conversation? Yes, 100%. But could we go back and forth? No. And that's not something that I do, even though, as you guys have seen pop up on the screen multiple times in this video and other videos, you've read it with your own eyes. I have multiple clients that went to dermatologists for decades and haven't been able to heal their CCCA. Dermatologists that told them, like, you'll never heal from this, you'll never heal from this. They work with me for less than a month and it's reversed. You don't have to take it from me, you just read it yourself. Yet and still, I will never stand in front of a dermatologist and go back and forth with them. You know what we would do? We would share notes, because dermatologists are not aware of all of the things that women do on a regular basis. A dermatologist's job is to assess the scalp, study the different types of disorders, bacteria, yeast and stuff, diagnose you, make recommendations, heal you, do surgeries and things of that nature. They did not go to the part of cosmetology school that I went through, where they're flat ironing your hair and blow drying it and understanding the daily patterns that you guys follow. Not to mention, the majority of dermatologists that you guys go to are not black, and they do not understand the concept or the overwhelming desire to constantly oil and grease the scalp. They do not get it. They also don't understand how one's scalp can overgrow so many forms of yeast and bacteria because they're shampooing their hair every other day. They cannot wrap their mind around somebody going 3-4 months without shampooing their hair. They can't. So I make the type of videos that I make. My videos are not your normal like team natural videos. No, because I'm not just a creator that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not just a person who like makes commentary videos. I'm a scientist in real life, like, and I'm using these videos just honestly podcast style, you know what I'm saying? So we can have this conversation and you can look at something as I'm talking, but I need you to see I'm trimming her hair because the only thing that was wrong with her hair was her ends. That was it. She just needed a trim, but she does not have a massive hair shaft disorder in any way, shape, or form. Look at the movement and the body in her hair. I know, once again, a lot of y'all not gonna like to hear this, and it's okay. Listen, every channel is not for everybody, all right? And again, licensed cosmetologists have been taken and listening and being forced to listen to and fix team natural rhetoric for years. So if we can take it on the chin and sit here and listen to it for 12 years, baby, you can listen to it or just don't come over here. Okay? Anyway, so as I'm going through her hair now, I'm just making sure that all of our layers are intact. She did have a little bit of breakage from some braids that she had in. It's the summertime. And if I'm not mistaken, she was from the D2. If I'm not mistaken. But anyway, as you can see, her hair is not damaged. You guys, again, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. If you are a woman who cuts their hair every time they see a curl change, you've been bamboozled by the team natural community. You have. There's no reason for you to do that, because I don't even recommend wash and goes, right? So imagine if you are natural and you have one little section on the left side of your head where the curl looks different. Why would you cut all your damn hair off? You're gonna cut 10 inches off for one little curl? Girl, if you don't go get a damn flexi rod set, there's so many different sizes of flexi rod sets. I'll leave the video link in the description box below, but there's so many freaking sizes, bro. If you do not go and get some flexi rods or some perm rods, if you want to wear your natural curls, do that. Get out of your feelings, my baby. Y'all are under freaking brainwash. Like, anytime y'all see a flat iron, it's like, war, black women, fight, unite. It's like, get a freaking grip on life, bro. It is the overcomplication that makes things like mess up for y'all. It's like, okay, I like my natural curls, so what can I do to dry my hair instead of the only things that have been created for humans? What can I make up? It's like, bro, get a grip, bro. You got a couple of different options to dry your hair. You could use a blow dryer, you could do a perm rod set, a flexi rod set. Like, there's so many different things you could do. A roller set. Or you can go ahead and keep air drying your hair and flat twist it and do whatever it is that you want to do. But understand that hair weathering and hair and follicle miniaturization are real. And everything works until it doesn't. I was able to step from behind the chair and no longer stand behind the chair anymore, because now I service the women who don't listen. The women who leave comments like, you don't know what you talk about. I've been doing this for 15 years and my hair feel good and my mama did it and my grandma did it, and those are my clients. So when you come on my channel, and there are a lot of people who say, oh, like, why don't you argue with people, or why are you so dismissive to certain people? Because I'm not going back and forth with you. What I do for a living is service the women who think like you, like 20 years later. That's what I do. So it is completely illogical of me to sit on like line and go back and forth with anybody, because when I clock in to my job, right, what I'm going to do is talk to somebody who's going to start the conversation saying, I'm one of the women who didn't listen. I thought everything was working. I was natural for 15 years, and then one day exactly what you said was going to happen began to happen. Yet and still, if we go back in time, which we'll be doing soon, I'll have a couple of older women coming through to talk to you guys, older women with longer hair, right? Coming through to talk to y'all, to tell you, like, they used to do so many different things to their hair, and through them having certain patterns and routines, they were able to grow healthy long hair. Why are we acting like our mothers and grandmothers didn't have long hair to their butts? And every black woman that I know that had hair to their butt as an older woman with no balding, no thinning anywhere, either got a roller set every 2 weeks, or they were getting their hair pressed and curled every 2 weeks. Like, it's a thing. All right, so this is how her hair came out. As you can see, let me know in the comments, does that look like heat damage to you? Because it don't look like it to me. All right, I use the same brushes all the time. When they get old, I just replace them. Links in the description box below. But this was one of my regular smegulars, and this was after she took some braids out, right? But the video that you're seeing in the left hand corner, right, that is her hair when she first started coming to me. So I'm putting pictures and videos like this up, right, and screenshots of different people's opinions and their reviews and things of that nature, because I can say a lot, but I am a visual person. Like, hair was a visual art. There was never a time throughout my career where I ever posted anything. It was like, I'm so good, I round brush like this, come to me. No, I just posted it before and after, and it was like, oh baby, that's all. So I'm not a person who does a whole bunch of talking. Visually, people can say whatever they want to say about combs and brushes being damaging, about blow dryers and flat irons being damaging, but at the end of the day, it is user error. Because if you know what you are doing, it is not a problem in any way, shape, or form. Right? And like I said, this is the summertime. Well, after summer is beginning to be over around this time, and she had braids for a month. And sometimes, depending on the braiders that you go to, I ain't gonna hold you with, Vegas do not got that many braiders. A lot of braiders in Vegas is dusty as hell. Okay, and a lot of times I would say all the time, it drove me absolutely insane to see braiders dip your client's whole entire hair head in hot water. You're only supposed to do the ends, because if they dip your hair in boiling hot water, my baby, you think a flat iron on your head is some hot shit? But dip your head in some boiling hot water, my baby. Like, anyway, ooh, I just had a flashback. So that is the only place that her breakage is coming from. But as you can see, I am blow drying her hair the same way that I just blow dried the other woman whose hair was barely had curls in it. So whenever you guys ask me questions like, oh, Sin, what do you do for a little girl's hair? Or how do you change it for this type of person? Or what if your hair looks like this? Or what if you have 4B hair? Or what if y'all, YouTube, for them to keep y'all attention and for them to keep y'all spending all of this damn money over these past 16 years, they've had to keep making up stuff. Because if they would have kept everything the way that it is with cosmetology for real, y'all would have been bored like 10 years ago, because it's not complicated. I don't care what your texture is, I'm round brushing your hair the same way. Relaxed, straight, curly, super duper curly, a little bit of curly, wavy, straight, black girl, white girl, Mexican girl, Samoan girl, Peruvian girl. They're all getting the same round brush work. What are you talking about? So it is through you constantly doing hack after hack after hack. Oh, you need this product if your hair looks like this. You need this product if your hair looks like this. No, you don't. The way your hair visually looks tells you nothing. Me looking at her hair right now, I cannot tell you what her porosity is from just looking at her hair. Nor do I know if whether or not her hair is thick, medium, or fine. Because somebody would look at her hair, and because it's so much hair, you would say, oh, she has really, really thick density. That's not always true. She could just have more hair on her head, but her actual hair strands could be thin. It could just be more of those strands. That's what I mean. You can't take everything at face value. You can't just follow what you see somebody else does online, unless that person puts online at the beginning of their video their entire scalp profile. And your scalp's profile, which I help you find in the 7-day challenge, is your sebum level, and whether or not you have high, low, or medium sebum flow, if whether or not you have a really, really active or mildly active sweat gland, and a couple of other things. I'm not dropping all the tea here, but their entire scalp's profile, when they drop their scalp's profile and then say, okay, so I'm doing XYZ because this is how my scalp is, then you go based on that. But y'all don't do that. It's whoever has the most views, you go ahead and follow them, and it doesn't work like that. You guys have been put under the impression that combs and brushes are the devil, and combs and brushes are the things that damage your hair. But in reality, combs and brushes are not damaging your hair. Blow dryers are not damaging your hair. What it is, y'all live your hair life in a illusion, right? Because curly hair is swollen when it is wet. So when the hair is swollen, you don't see its true diameter. For example, right now I'm bloated. So with me bloated, the way that a dress would look on me when I'm bloated and the way that it looks when my bloat is gone are completely different, two different things. Right now I look about 4 months pregnant. Oh God. But in a couple of, like next week when my bloating is gone, or no, next week, in a couple of days when my bloating is gone, I'm gonna be big snatch. What you mean? Your hair is the same way. When your hair is wet, it's swollen. However healthy you think your hair is, my baby, when it's swollen, it's a liar. It's a lie. And even right now, the way her hair is right now, it's still swollen. The way her ends look right now, blown out, and the way that her hair is going to look when I straighten it are two completely different things, my baby. That's why I said curly hair is stretched when it is completely straightened. Her hair is not stretched to its maximum capacity when it's blown out. It is not. I don't care what anybody says. Hey. And when your hair is naturally straight, Girl, if you want an even cut, if they're asking for a blunt cut and you cut their hair when it's dry, they're gonna be looking at you like you crazy as hell. That ain't how it go. All right. And with the whole curly cuts things, it's not something created for black women. Black women start following the diva cuts, and diva cuts was created by a white woman. So that white woman created products for white women, and she was cutting hair like white women are supposed to cut their hair. And y'all just hopped on the bandwagon. It was like, we're gonna cut our hair just like the white girls do. And then y'all completely ignored and demonized professional cosmetologists that said, no, you're only supposed to cut hair when it's stretched. And our hair is stretched when it's straightened. And their hair is stretched when it's wet. Our hair is swollen when wet. And everybody demonized cosmetologists like me that have been saying that. A lot of you guys are just finding me just now, but I've been doing this for years. So if you hear me and it sounds like I'm intense, or if it sounds like I don't have patience, it's because I don't. I'm just being very real and very realistic. How much patience would you have saying the same thing for almost 20 years? Huh? So, and not quite 20, like 16, 17. So I love you guys, and as you can see in the comments, I will stop. I will answer your questions. If you join any of the programs, the challenges within my groups, we talk. I am here 100%. But if you are a Team Natural Nazi and you want to come in my comments and you want to debate, I am not debating with anybody who gets their knowledge from other girls online that don't know nothing. Baby, I'm not doing that. Okay, so as you can see, she does have breakage, way more hair than I should be cutting off, because normally when my clients come in for a trim, you can barely see hair on the floor. Like, that's how their trims are. This is one of the cases where she had breakage again because of the braids. So it's really important that y'all like understand that once y'all do certain things to your protective styles, I just did the quotation marks on my fingers, girl, that protective style ain't protective no more. It's really not. It's really not. All right. But again, she was, I'm sorry, because I've been retired for like going on 7 years now, but she was one of my favorite clients, 10 billion%. She listened to everything that I had to say. She stopped anytime I told her, girl, don't be doing that. She was like, okay, shit, my bad. And she stuck to it. So seeing how long her hair was, this is another client that I had once I was retired already. As you can see, she's a little older. You can see from her beautiful gray hair. This woman blow dries and flat irons her hair on a regular basis. However, she was somebody who fell victim to Team Natural as well with an uneven cut. I'll leave that video link in the description box below. But as you can see, blow dryers and flat irons do not damage your hair. I did the full blowout and flat iron for her hair, and you could clearly see even right now there is no hair in my brush. So if flat irons and blow dryers break off the hair, then there would literally be hair in the brush. That's when you would see the breakage. You see none. The amount of hair that y'all have in y'all combs and brushes when you are at home detangling your hair never happens in the salon if you go into the right type of stylist. It never happened with me. I can't speak for other people. But look at where her hair is right now. Look at her length, right? Due to her patterns and routines. If the client that is coming next keeps up with her patterns and routines, the way we've been going, especially when you rewind and look at her hair when we first started, it will take no time for her hair to get to where hers is at. Black women can have long, beautiful, thick hair, but y'all make stuff so complicated for no reason. Instead of y'all just doing the stuff that the people who laid before you did, Madam CJ Walker, Annie Turnbow, everybody, y'all want to go create other stuff. You want to stand upside down for 9 hours eating rice nipple juice instead of just blow drying your hair. Like, bro, it's not that complicated. But again, Whatever you want to do, do it. But understand there's no easy way to have super healthy hair without breakage if you're just leaving it sitting on top of your head. No other woman walking the face of this earth leaves her hair sitting on top of her head and like spraying products on it, walking outside, never using combs and brushes, only using 4 fingers to detangle 400,000 strands of hair and thinking that their hair is going to be healthy. It's just not a thing, right? But again, when my clients like her followed directions, their hair grew long, beautiful, and healthy with no problem. She did not always wear her hair straight. When her hair got done being straight, she would do flexi rod sets, perm rod sets, roller sets, all different things. But she never just let her hair air dry because she got way more breakage trying to comb it when she did that. Let me know what you think about this video. Give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, but don't get blocked, and don't forget to subscribe if you like me. Thank you. Bye.